Good morning and welcome to another episode of PharSide Folios as we continue to celebrate African American children's and YA literature with a special series of author interviews during Women's History Month for the month of March. Today we have as our special guest, Stephanie Duff. Stephanie Duff is the founder of the Rayne Project, and she is the author of Me and My Hair, which is the first book in the Rayne Project series. She's a passionate teacher in Toronto, Canada, who has been teaching children for over 10 years. She received her Bachelor of Education from York University and her Master's of Education from the University of Toronto. She's committed to 4 key things: maximizing learning in any space, promoting a healthy sense of self, inspiring leadership, and fostering critical thinking. And she's dedicated her career to each of these pursuits. And when she's not teaching or reading, she enjoys spending time with her family and friends, singing, and good conversation. So welcome to the Far Side, our special guest, Stephanie Duff.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here.
Thank you for being here, like all the way live from Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
We're so excited. So what was the inspiration behind Me and My Hair?
It's funny because when I think about the inspiration, it's almost like there was nothing really in terms of, maybe I saw something or someone told me. It really started from a Facebook post. And this Facebook post really talked about, I just started writing and it came out that, I want to do an animated movie with this young Black girl with natural hair. She's going to have this personality and it's going to be done by this corporation. And it was like, it just all came out. And when I was done typing, I was like, what was that? Like, where did that all come from? And then, I sat back on it a bit and I'm like, no, man, there's something about this post. I told some family, I told friends about it. I'm like, what do you guys think about this? And they're like, go for it. Like, connect to the people that you need to connect to and do the animated movie. And I'm like, how am I going to do an animated movie just starting from here? So anyways, I told my brother, who's like a complete visionary. He sees everything from like, 1,000 miles ahead. And he was like, yeah, let's flesh this out. Let's talk about this. Let's, do this. So he came by the house, had these big full scraps of paper. And we sat for about 5-6 hours just brainstorming, picking apart this character, trying to figure out what is really going on. And we were done with 6 pages at the end of that. And then I prayed about it. And I kid you not, when I prayed, I got the character's name. Like I dreamed, I'm like, I got the name. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm going to write a story. I'm going to start with children's books. And that's kind of how it was birthed out, just from a Facebook post that kind of, prompted me. And, got the name Rayne in a dream. And it was like, here we go. So that's kind of how it all started.
That is, one of the beautiful things about the inspiration is that it can come from any source, and we can't limit it to, a specific thing, but from a Facebook post, from a Facebook post, you ended up wheels turning and things being triggered, and then having your brother, help you map it out,
pull it out. Yeah.
Pull it out. And then, resting in some prayer and then within that, we get a character, we get, all of the details about what this kid looks like and what she's going to do and be. And so all of those things, coming together to inspire this project, which is, Me and My Hair.
Me and My Hair.
So now, without giving the whole story away, tell us about Me and My Hair.
So it basically stars a young Black girl with natural hair, and her name is Rayne. She starts a new school, and when she gets to the new school, basically she gets bullied about her hair, gets bullied about how it looks, and she's kind of thrown for a loop because she's never really been antagonized for her hair before. So it's almost like, whoa, what's happening? And then she basically goes through a journey of, accepting her hair. And, there's certain community members that contributed to helping her kind of find herself and be okay with who she was. And, in the end, being able to speak up about it. And that part is so impactful, because I find that, a lot of young girls, especially when they're young, there's a lot of peer pressure that happens, whether, verbally or unconscious or subconsciously, and feeling that need to fit in. And so giving Rayne that voice in there, I really want for other young girls to be able to tap into that as well at such a young age, and kind of own who they are at a young age. So when they get older, it's not as difficult, that they can be able to master or even get on the right path at an earlier age. So that's kind of a little bit of the story, putting in some community, putting in some family, that kind of help her journey along to her acceptance.
So what is do you have a favorite line or portion of the story that you can share with our audience?
I can, and it's not a line, it's actually a part in the book, and I'm going to show you. There's some parts that I like, but this part, when I was thinking about it, I really wanted to highlight hairstyles. That was like my biggest thing. I wanted to find an illustrator who could do our hairstyles justice, where you could identify and see, like, I know cane rolls, I know puffs, I know twists, and it actually looks like it. So the part in the book I'm going to show is this part here. So it's like a gallery of different hairstyles for girls that are about her age, that she also uses as a point where she can be like, wait a minute, my hair is not so bad. These girls look great, right? And so when I thought of doing this part, I thought of like the young girls that are not necessarily reading yet, little young babies that are maybe about 2.5, 3, that can't read the words, but they can really connect with pictures. And even getting the feedback from families and hearing what they're saying about that particular part in the book, where the kids start touching their hair as they look at the images and start to connect and say words like, I'm beautiful. Can I get hair like this, mommy? Can you do this style? And to me, that's like exactly what I was going for, that the children and students can literally connect right away. They know cane rolls. I know, Bantu knots. I know puffs, and I know clips. I know bubbles, like those sort of things kind of just, hitting home right away. And so that part in the book, kind of in the middle, I really want to bring the young Black girls specifically into the book.
And that is a great tool and resource, because I know, when going to the hair salon,
right,
sometimes they have magazines
right,
for everybody else, but not specifically
that
us.
part.
So, trying to, you may find a stylist there at a salon who's able to do, more, ethnic styles.
Right.
But when you have images that can show, that's helpful.
Absolutely.
And that serves as, it's, a tool. It's like you can take your daughter and she has her book, and she can point to the picture and
say,
this is what I want. I want my hair to look like this.
Yeah.
So I love the pictures and images that you cast and show. And I know that my niece, who's 5 years old, is going to love this book as well. She's got a little doll, and she's doing her doll's hair.
Good.
Sent video pictures to me to say, this is what she's doing.
Right.
Tangling and everything. So
oh my goodness. I love it.
I mean, just having that section of, of the story is a powerful, connection, not just for, the idea of hair,
right,
but, image and identity. And something else that you mentioned was that of voice, and how important is, voice, for young girls.
Exactly.
So thinking about that, your story brings up the importance of understanding differences. So why was this concept really important for you to highlight for readers to read Me and My Hair?
So, all of us are different. And you know, that's not new. I think the part that's really difficult, you know, for adults, for kids, is being able to, what's the word? Like accept and being able to be okay with that. There's always, you know, these standards of beauty. There's a standard of look. There's a standard of weight. There's a standard of image. And all these standards help us to, not help us, but kind of block us into this mentality of this is how it has to be. And so now when something doesn't fit into that mold, we come up against a block or a barrier, or, you know, bullying in this case, or, you know, words being used that are not okay. As a teacher, I see a lot of students and how they interact and the things that they say. So for example, some of the words that they might use when they see something that's different, they'll say like, that's weird, or that looks funny. And I always have to intentionally tell them, well, it's not weird and it's not funny. It's just different. Your hair is straight, for example, and their hair is curly. Or, you know what I mean? They wear a hijab and someone else doesn't. It doesn't make it funny or weird. It's just different. And that's cool. And I find myself having to kind of give them the language when they come up against something that is different, because it doesn't fit this mold that's kind of been created. I remember for me, even when I speak about hair, I remember going through high school and it was like, you know, even though I wasn't necessarily bullied and picked on, I remember internally going through this mode of like, what am I doing with my hair today? Like, I have no idea what to do with my hair. I can't get it like this. It's not looking good like that. It's not doing this. It's not doing that. And I'm telling you, like, there was no YouTube then for me to be able to go, what kind of style can I do today? You know what I mean? And be able to draw from that. So it was literally complaining every day to my mom that my hair is not doing what I want it to do. It doesn't slick back the way I want it to. It keeps puffing out when it's too hot. You know, how do I do my hair? And so kind of going through that battle too, of trying to, you know, really accept my own hair as it is and finding styles that work for my hair and not trying to make it super straight and things like that. And so I wanted young girls specifically to be okay with how they look. I wanted young children or students that read the book to know that differences are simply okay. Like, we're not trying to all look and move and sound the same. And so when I really wanted to draw on that, it really came from a place of, you know, my own experiences, how I was trying to do my hair and fit a certain way, in addition to hearing how kids at 5 and 6 and 7 speak about things that don't look like what they're accustomed to, and giving them a platform, a space to be able to give them the language that, hey, it's cool. You know, it doesn't look weird. It's not funny. It's okay. So that's kind of where it came from, just my own, you know, personal experiences and being in the classroom.
So your main character, Rayne, she's a spunky young girl. How do you connect to her character?
I think one of the main things I wanted to draw on is her hair, because I have natural hair too that I love to wear, you know, braids, cane rolls, puffs like that. But the other part was I wanted to, and we kind of talked about it before, but I wanted to give her the voice. I remember being a young girl and not always wanting to speak up personally, being 10, being 9, being 11 and stuff like that. It wasn't always easy to be brave and speak up. And I wanted her to be a voice and allow other young girls that see her response to situations that they can adapt that, you know, that they can, they're like, hey, you know, Rayne did it, I can do it too, kind of thing. And so, yeah, our commonalities would be our hair, but I wanted to give her a voice earlier on in comparison to when I felt that I had my voice, if that makes sense.
Makes absolute sense. As you know, as educators, you know, we're shaping the lives of young children,
right,
and helping them find the words and, you know, structure the language in a way that communicates their ideas, their
right,
thoughts, their concepts.
right.
So what you're doing in the classroom and what you're doing with this project speaks volumes. Definitely will have a positive impact, you know, on young girls and all those who will encounter me and my hair. So kudos for just being intentional about giving Rayne a voice and then, inspiring and empowering others to find their voice as well with us.
Thank you, Monica. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
So what do you hope? What are some other your hopes for what readers will take away from this book?
My hope is that, they will appreciate differences a little bit better. I'm not expecting something to happen overnight. That's not really the expectation, but at least it's a seed where they can refer back to, and use that as a tool. And that's for all children who read it. I really want them to appreciate differences, that when they see something that looks a little different than their own world, maybe at home, or where maybe they grew up, that it will be a talking tool. Be say, hey, I like your hair like that, or hey, why do you wear that? Like questions that would just help to generate discussion in terms of, instead of sorry, just saying that's weird, that's funny, oh my gosh, and for young Black girls to, when they see it, especially growing up and having natural hair, and maybe having a doll that doesn't have natural hair, for example, that battle, that subconscious battle of like, this is beautiful, she's a doll and she has straight hair. I don't see dolls that look like me, so beauty must be in white dolls with straight hair. Do you know what I mean? Like that subconscious message that happens. And so I want young girls, when they see this book or when they encounter the Rayne Project in any form or shape that it comes in, to be able to go like, man, I'm cool, I'm good. Like my hair is nice. There's things that I can do with it. Or I love my skin. We come in different shades and I can appreciate that. And really just shedding light on their own identity and it being okay. As simple as it sounds, it's just, it really is for me, really them being okay with themselves. When we look at society and look at statistics and the battle between even suicidal thoughts, when they get to even young ages as 14, it blows my mind at 14 that we're thinking about taking a life when you haven't even lived really life yet, and so just kind of helping them with that self-esteem, the sense of identity, and all of those different things through simple children's books that can help to, drive that point home.
So you, in your describing the inspiration behind the book, you shared some of your journey with the beginning the writing process. So what was the writing process like for you?
So seeing how it came from just a Facebook post, and I didn't have a plan of being an author at all. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't anything like that. It was a struggle in the beginning. It was so hard just to get my thoughts out of my head, or ideas down. At first, I didn't even have an idea. And I was like, okay, what am I going to write about? And that's where I kind of thought of my own experiences and seeing the experiences of even other young Black girls around me, and being able to draw from that. And then I ended up taking a course online, one of those free courses through our library here online. And it was basically writing children's stories. And so I hopped in on that, and I was able to gather just some tidbits and understanding of kind of how the process works with children's stories in terms of like pages and content and, how many words and just things like that, those mechanics behind it. And then it took me about 4 months just to get past that piece of, you can do this. It doesn't have to be perfect right away. Just write it down. That was 4 months. And then by the time March 2020 hit, my mojo was like flowing and I was starting to write things out. My sister had told me, she's like, don't be so concerned about getting it all down perfect right away. Just let it flow. Let it just come out, and then go back and retweak and edit and do all of that. So what I was finding in the beginning was I wrote a sentence and I was like, oh, this sentence doesn't make sense. It doesn't do this. It doesn't do that. And that was like that blockage. But eventually, when she said that, it started just to flow. I didn't hinder it. I didn't block. I just let it all come out. And then before you know it, that process of writing has kind of emerged. And then another one came through and I was like, whoa, okay. So creativity, you just need to let it flow, clearly.
Beautiful, beautiful process. So are there any tips that you could give, other aspiring authors, even, you know, young children who are beginning to write, that like one or two tips that you could give aspiring or young authors?
Yeah, I think I have a few.
Okay, go for it.
But one of them is one of them that I learned right in the beginning, like I mentioned too, is just don't think it has to be perfect right away. If you have a concept deep down in your heart, a story that you want to share, whether it be based on your experience, a cause, or a need, just let it out first. Like, don't think about it being perfect right away. That one, I believe, blocks creativity completely. The other one is do not be afraid to ask questions. This was a new thing for me, and I had to ask questions over. I had to do a little bit of research behind it. So, not to be afraid to ask questions of those that may have been in the game for a little bit longer, or if you're connecting with a publisher, send them a bag of emails with a bag of questions that you may have about the process and what that looks like. And please, I beg everybody, be you. Don't get another book, try to copy it because it got an award in this or got an award in that. Really and truly, we all bring an uniqueness to this world. I really believe that. A different way of doing things, thinking about things, and contributing it to the world. And so if we want to be an author, a speaker, a singer, or whatever it is that draws our creativity, should be unique to us. You know what I mean? And so not to stifle that because you're trying to copy what someone else is doing because it seems like it got them ahead, where your uniqueness could really impact somebody that person was unable to reach through their creativity. And so really, again, going back to owning who we are and our own sense of self, being okay with that, being okay with your own identity and your own creativity in the process, because you don't know who you're going to impact. And that, I think, is the power behind being creative and putting things out there for people to draw from.
So following along with that, when I say representation matters, what does that mean to you, especially for this story of me and my hair?
Right. I was thinking, as you said, the word representation matters. I was thinking about me, myself, as a young girl and not having storybooks. Like, and I don't know if I missed it or not, but it was like, when I think back to it, I was like, I don't remember having a storybook with Black characters, a Black girl, a Black boy, a Black family. I don't remember. And I, went as far as to say, Ma, did you guys buy me books with Black characters in it? And she's like, no. And I was like, oh, like, wow, like we went through like a generation of almost like not having storybooks that we looked alike, right? And so when we say, representation matters, I'm looking at it like being seen in a different space other than my own house, and being heard in different spaces other than my own house. And so creating a book now where there are characters that look like a family you grew up in, or little nuances like a hair bonnet in there, or a kitchen that kind of resembles a kitchen that looks like your own. Like, it could be anything, but you pick up on those little things that help to say, hey, I have that. Oh, hey, I wear that to bed. Or, hey, I've worn that hairstyle before. And it allows you automatically to jump into the book with the character. And so when I think about representation matters, I think about being seen, being heard, and feeling represented. I think that it gives, like this automatic permission to be okay with being in that space. Even when we see like Michelle Obama, or we see Barack Obama, or we saw, these people in certain spaces that we've never seen before. It now gives another young child, an adult, a young woman, a young man to say, hey, I can be in that space too, because someone that looks like me is in that space, right? There's a subconscious thing that happens when we see imagery over and over, and being able to feel welcomed in that space now because someone has trotted before us to go there. And so when I look into movies being represented and books being represented, it allows them to know that they're being heard and being seen, and that, hey, I can do that too, or I can be in that situation as well. I think that's the heart of representation.
Okay, we have a couple of viewer comments
Oh, cool.
that said building self-love and self-acceptance at an early age. Absolutely beautiful.
That part.
Trusting your authentic voice.
That part.
So that part right
Yes.
there just like seals the deal
Oh,
as to
that's
the
so good. Trusting your authentic voice. Yes. Oh my goodness.
oh wow. So
That
do
was
you
good.
have any other projects in the future that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, actually, you know what? On March 14th, we're going to be doing a virtual book launch of Me and My Hair officially. You know, we're trying to wait it out to do it in person, but you know, COVID won't let us be great. So so we're going to do it virtually on March 14th at 5 o'clock. It's going to be on YouTube and it's under the Rayne Project. So if you have time on Sunday, March 14th, you could tune in with us and, you know, jump in on that for the official virtual book launch of Me and My Hair. There's some prizes you can win, stuff like that. So it would be nice to have everyone out.
Awesome. So for our viewers and listeners, replay viewers, can you tell us how they can connect and follow you on social media and how they can purchase your books?
Sure. So you can contact or find me on Instagram at the Rayne Project. We also have a website, which is rayneproject.com. Rayne is spelled Rayne. So when you're ever putting in Rayne, that's how it's spelled. So the Rayne Project at the Rayne Project on Insta and rayneproject.com on your World Wide Web. So you can definitely find book links on our website where you can purchase, as well as you can, you know, jump on Instagram and see what's going on there and things like that.
All right. So I'd like to thank my guest, Miss Stephanie Duff, for spending this time with us this morning. And we just wish you continued success with
Thank
Me
you.
and My Hair and all of the wonderful projects to come, especially with this being the first in a series. We're so excited about this and about the impact that it's going to have in the
Thank you.
lives of young children, even adults who will pick up and read this story. So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for spending this time with us.
Thanks for having me, Monica. Thank you so much. This has been great.
All right. So to our live viewing audience and those who will watch the replay, we want to make sure you're staying tuned to the PharSide Co-Ed Book Club Facebook page for more author interviews and posts as we celebrate African American children's and YA literature and women who write during the month of March. So until next time, many roots, many voices are a part of the infinite story. So plant your seed. Thank you and have a great day.
Bye.